Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt, a post-April 6th YouTube channel. Well, I spent a few minutes thinking about this and doing some research on high blood pressure. And I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a physician's assistant. I do not work for a hospital. I'm not what would generally be called a practitioner. I have no medical training. So I'm just a private individual who has a lot of experience knowing about this stuff. Because my mother, God rest her soul, she had a heart condition for 11 years. Actually, correction, 10 years. And she had to have open heart surgery when she was only 40 years old. But enough about that. What I have found out is some information that I looked at through a Google search, and I also found some information on American Heart Association, or heart.org. I'll be right back. Let me go get the information that I found out. On a nice composition book that I use strictly for research purposes and to make notes so that I can carefully keep track of things, that I bought at a good price. It was only about $1.25, $1.50. Here is what normal blood pressure is. 120, which is systolic or systolic, and is the 120, and 80 is the diastolic, the bottom number. It's 120 over 80. At risk is anywhere between 120 to 139, systolic or systolic, and anything between 80 and 89 is not good. High blood pressure, by definition, is anything 140 over 90 or higher than that. Because the higher it is, the worse, the more serious your high blood pressure is. Hypertensive crisis. Now, this hypertensive crisis numbers, or facts that I'm going to present, comes from heart.org, American Heart Association. Anything that is 180 or higher, yep, on these systolic, or whatever. Sorry, I can't pronounce that one. And the bottom number, diastolic, is 120 or higher. Even if you have high blood pressure that is like 139 over 88 or 89, you're at risk of a heart attack, a stroke, kidney problems or kidney disease, kidney illnesses, or here's another thing that could happen: cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is worse than a heart attack. Believe me, it's bad. It's not good. I don't know a lot about cardiac arrest, but I know this much. It's usually fatal. It's usually fatal. Not good. I personally take two different hypertension medications, as I've discussed before, and the two different hypertension medications that I've taken before, I better not talk about it until I get approval, like I've said in the previous vlog, from Food and Drug Administration or Center for Disease Control, where I get a letter of consent to do so. Then I'll either display the medication, or I'll just simply mention what it is. One of the things, other than not drinking heavily or not drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes, there's things you should refrain from, is drink this. Here is a bottle of Essentials Overachieving H2O. It is purified water with electrolytes for taste. Yeah, that electrolytes in bottled water is good for you, because I personally think it can help prevent dehydration. And it can help prevent you from feeling lightheaded. In fact, I'll go ahead and take a swig of that right now before I do the blood pressure test. That's good. Okay. Here is the unit that I will be using. I've had this since about roughly about August of 2022. It's not BE well, it's B, the letter B and well. It is a company that is I believe it's based out of New York, somewhere in New York State. New York City, could be, but I don't know exactly where it is in New York State. And again, it looks like this. Oops, it's a little crooked. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have to pull this a little bit closer to me. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have to apply the wristband or the armband, because it says it on here, up, down, meaning up here and down would be this direction. Okay. Good Lord, stop fighting me. Let me pull the sleeve up a little bit. Hi, kitty. I'm gonna take my blood pressure. Yeah. My kitty is down there looking at me really cute like. See, she was kind of looking up at me even cuter than that a little bit ago. Okay. So, two pieces got disconnected. Not good. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to keep my arms up about like this. And I'm going to press the on button.
Keep your palm and monitor as high as your heart.
Yep, did you hear that? What they're saying is accurate. I don't like keep my arms up like this, but I gotta try to relax.
Your blood pressure is
Oh,
139 over 85. Your heart rate is 64.
Oh, goodness, that's not good. Uh-oh. I know what it is. I forgot to take my second dose that I need to take of my two different medications, one for the blood pressure, the other one for anti-seizure medication. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to take this a second time. But what I want to do is I want to give the medication to some time to get into the bloodstream. So what I will discuss next is what I went through on February 22nd, 2010, that finally got me to get my head out of, pardon me for saying this, got to get my head out of my ass and stop being so stubborn and do something about my blood pressure. Okay, I woke up, it was a day off from work this particular day. I woke up after a good night's sleep, but I wasn't feeling good. My chest was hurting, and I was starting to feel weak and pale. And I didn't have a temperature, but my chest was really starting to hurt. And I had called my father about this, and he basically said, look, why don't you try this urgent care facility that is on East Iliff, and I didn't like that. I didn't think that would be a good idea because I didn't have health insurance at the time. I mean, now it's way different. I have very good health coverage through SSDI. And then we talked some more about it, and basically he said that you need to either call Denver Health or you need to call Swedish Hospital and ask them what to do, because you need to deal with this now. Don't ignore this. You have to get checked. And I called a man who, he's now deceased. He was an emergency room doctor named, well, I better not say his last name because he passed away a few years ago. Well, his name is Alan. Okay, so I called Alan, and Alan really convinced me. He said, forgive me for being blunt, but what could happen with you with your high blood pressure issue and the feelings you're having, you could have a stroke and you could die. You need to get checked. You have to get checked, man. Don't ignore this. So here's what happened. The first thing I did was I called Denver Health. And I talked to them about indigent care. And the lady who answered the phone, she was most likely just a PBX operator, phone operator. And she transferred me to the department that would deal with indigent care. And in the middle of transferring from the main line, the main operator, to the division that would deal with urgent care, the call got disconnected. So then what I did was I either looked this up through my computer, or I looked it up simply through the Yellow Pages. And I got the phone number for Swedish Hospital, the main line. And I was transferred in the way that was supposed to be, which was supposed to be done, to somebody who I would talk to about indigent care. Well, the person that I was supposed to talk to was not available because that person was in the middle of a conference call. But the lady who answered the phone, who was going to get me connected with this person, basically said to me, she's in the middle of a conference call. It's going to be about at least 20 minutes to a half hour. Let me get your name and phone number, and I'll have this person call you back. And after about 20 minutes to a half hour, the lady did call me back. And she was very helpful. She basically said, okay, what you would need to do is come to our emergency room, get checked out, and make sure to bring your state ID, your driver's license, and your social security card. And then what I did was I ate some breakfast. It was a nice breakfast burrito that you used to be able to get from a place that was called Maestro Espresso, because that is now out of business, unfortunately. The guy shut it down, and then this little hut that kind of looked like the old photomat drop-off facility, little drop-off hut facilities. That little hut was later used for about a year and a half by a company that had cell phone cases and cell phone repair help or something like that. And that place didn't last but 6 months to a year, and then they had to shut down. And that little hut was demolished. And then a few years later, what happened is they built a really nice tire store. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit off the subject. I apologize. Well, after I ate the breakfast, I showered, shaved, brushed my teeth, and I looked up when the next Route 35 was going to arrive, RTD bus. I got on, I paid the fare for the RTD ride, and I took it from Dayton and South Dayton and East Girard to approximately East Hamden and South Pennsylvania Avenue or Pennsylvania Street, whatever, which is Swedish Hospital. And I went to the facility, and I went around the back of the building where the entrance would be for the emergency room. And what I did was I couldn't find where it was, so I went up towards the front, and then I was advised where it was. I think I had to take an elevator. And I took an elevator to one part of the area that is emergency care, but I opened up the door and I realized I was in the wrong area, and I apologized to the person who was at the entrance door nearby, and he advised me where it was, which was just a few units away from where I was. I think it was on the third or the fourth floor, something like that. And then what I did is I got screened by an off-duty policeman, and he says, "Okay, you're clear," and he pointed to two people that were registered nurses or clinical people. And what they did was they sat me down and they took my body temperature and my blood pressure. My blood pressure was so dangerously high. Hold on. The information you see is the truth. It was 203 over 128 with a pulse rate of 114. That is very, very, very serious. I was literally this close to what could have been a fatal heart attack, a massive ischemic stroke, or cardiac arrest or what's even worse than that, a combination of a heart attack and a stroke. Because most people, if they live through that, they're paralyzed, and they're going to need to have, at least this is my personal opinion anyway, they're going to need to have open heart surgery. Or if the heart attack is got really damaged because of the type of heart attack they had, I would assume it would be heart transplant. Yep. Now again, what I just said is just my opinion. Maybe I'm dead wrong, because as I've said before, I don't have training in the medical industry. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician's assistant. I'm not a practitioner. I'm just a private individual who knows, who's speaking from personal experience and from the research I've done, and from hearing from people who know a lot about this, hearing this from them secondhand. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, now that the medication has been in my system for a bit, is I'm going to, let's see, is this the right way again? Okay. I'm going to try again. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm going to try again.
Keep your palm and monitor as high as your heart.
Keep your palm and your monitor as high as your heart. So I'm going to keep my arms elevated like this.
Error occurred.
Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for embarrassing me on YouTube, you machine. Oh, goodness. I'm going to try again. I'm not going to give up. Hi, kitty. I give you a little bit of love and attention by petting you just a little bit. Okay? There we go. Okay, I'm going to try again.
Keep your palm and monitor as high as your heart. Error occurred. Please remeasure.
Oh my God, again? 1 minute. Okay, I tightened this up again, and this is what the results are. I haven't been on the blood pressure medication all that long, so it'll take effect. It's just going to take some time. It don't happen just like that, or it doesn't happen in less than 5 minutes. It hasn't fully gone through my bloodstream. So, well, here's another thing, and I'll show this. No.
Your blood pressure was 1. Your blood pressure was 1.
Okay, let me get to one that was.
Your blood pressure was 118. Your blood pressure was 103 over 70. Your heart rate was 79.
Yeah, that was taken several months ago. Yeah, my blood pressure's low on that one. Which isn't the best, but it isn't the worst.
blood pressure was 180/82.
Okay, I shut it all off. Well, I wanted to bring this issue to people's attention because I know there's a lot of people who do things to take care of themselves, but there's a few that don't. It's a good idea to go to places like CVS Pharmacy, grocery stores that have like Safeway, Kroger stores, Old My King Supers, and other chains of Kroger stores. And I'm trying to think of another company. I just can't think of one. Because Walgreens don't do business with them. Yeah. I don't do business with them anymore. They really tick me off. Because of how rude a pharmacist was to me. Yeah. I don't do business with them anymore. For those who have high blood pressure, unless you're really having bad chest pain or something like what I had, I would call the local Find a Doctor or do a Google search about finding a doctor about hypertension specialists. I think that's the best thing to do. Or if you don't like to use the internet, look in your local or your yellow pages and look at under physicians for like Find a Doctor, because I think there's several different phone numbers for Find a Doctor. Yeah. Well, that's it now, and I hope everyone, like I've said before, will have a good, happy 2024, and keep yourself healthy. And try not to eat too much fast food, because fast food, I personally think, is one of the reasons why so many people have high blood pressure, eating at a lot of these fast food restaurants. But anyways, thank you very much, and goodbye.